Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Ahoy! Let's go! We're waking up Chicago. Turn up the radio. It's time to start the show. On Q101 with the morning crew. Ahoy! Let's go! Welcome to the morning show.
And it's Friday.
I created a monster, cause nobody wants to see Marshall no more. They want shady, I'm chopped liver. Well, if you want shady, this is what I'll give you. A little bit of weed mixed with some hard liquor, some vodka that'll jumpstart my heart quicker than a shock when I get shocked at the hospital by the doctor when I'm not cooperating. When I'm rocking the table while he's operating. Hey! You waited this long to stop debating, cause I'm back, I'm on the brag and ovulating. I know that you got a job, Miss Cheney, but your husband's heart problem's complicating. So the FCC won't let me be, or let me be me, so let me see. They try to shut me down on MTV, but it feels so empty without me.
Let's go. It is Friday. We're getting you there 4 hours closer to your weekend. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. That, by the way, was for Tony in Chicago Heights. He wanted to make sure we did the Friday song for him today. So, Tony, that was for you, my man. And for all the people of Chicago Heights, your neighbors, you, everything. But before we start, get going here. Since we had Eminem there, Kenzie's back again. Indeed, Kenzie is here.
Hello.
Let's go. Hey!
Hello.
How you feeling, girl?
Fantastic.
Oh, God. Yeah, you sound good.
Yeah, no, I did get a message yesterday saying, hey, could you come back? The guys were talking about gambling and starting a war. So I was like, okay, don't feel great. Should come back, though.
Yeah, well, the war started, by the way, so it's too late with Indiana. If you were here in that first hour and listened, of course, to the podcast to catch up, as you always can each hour, it's all there for you after the show.
I was only sick for 2 days.
Yep, a war started.
Okay.
With our
good.
state next door.
Good. No, I'm really happy you did that. Love that.
Well, it all started when Indiana tried to annex, and they are trying right now to annex 30 counties of Illinois and change the actual border of Indiana and Illinois.
And you said not up in here.
Well, damn right. Damn right. And listen, I have nothing but love for Indiana, but you can't take our counties, even if they actually wanted to go, which is the case.
Brian's always been a stand your ground kind of guy.
Yep. So that's what happened. A war started. What else happened, Case, while Kenzie was out?
Well, you became one step closer to being a snowmobile owner.
Yeah, that started when she was still here, and then
But we really doubled down on that.
Yeah, it progressed.
We did talk a lot about gambling. We did start a war.
Oh, I hate when only men are here. It's
That
unbelievable.
pretty much covers it.
Yeah.
Good.
It wasn't you, Brian. You just said, you're like, well, if you were here in the first hour yesterday, you heard us talk about starting a war. We actually talked about starting a war for all 4 hours yesterday. That was most of the show.
Can I just point out, and not to be this person.
Okay.
What you're going to be, it sounds like.
About 3 minutes of the show.
But
Doesn't that just sound like politics? There's a bunch of guys get into a room, and then you talked about war for 4 hours.
It had nothing to do with politics.
it was personal.
It was about Yeah, that's right. I was just mad.
And I took that personally.
I did say to Brian during a commercial break, I go, are you sure you really would want to invade Indiana? Do you think this is a good use of your time? And his response, which is why we have war, was, well, they started it, so I have to finish it.
Damn right.
But this is exactly what I'm saying.
Of course.
Right.
So you weren't here to say, like, maybe
Right.
rethink it.
Right.
Listen, I'm still happy with my decision with no regrets. I'm getting this thing started.
Hell yeah, brother.
And we have a hell of a show for you today. We'll keep you updated on the skirmishes at the border. Plus, of course, Case's movie review of Rudy. We have a Bonnaroo song scramble at 7:50, where you get tickets to Bonnaroo.
Brian has a link to enlist, apparently.
And we also saved something for Kenzie, because yesterday we got reached out from Yasmin, our listener, who got a DNA test to see who her real father was. And I said, can you hold on to it for a day? Hold on to it for one day, because I want Kenzie back for this one. You remember Yasmin's phone call that was...
How could I forget? How dare you ask me if I remember that?
Legendary call about her entire family life. Her mom has 4 children with 4 different daddies. Well, she's going to find out now who her dad is. The DNA test results are in. So at 8:20, we will get her on the phone and talk to her.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Before we get to our fact that makes your brain go. Yesterday, the war started, the Illinois-Indiana war at the border. And if you were here on the show, if you weren't, just go to the podcast later on, the first hour, second hour, third hour, fourth hour, you'll hear about it. But the double features who live in Indiana, part of the conversation happened during this war of the things we'd want to acquire, like the Hard Rock Casino. We want to make sure we secure that. And I talked about the Quiznos would be a great place for the treaty like 7 years from now, the Quiznos in Valpo. But then one of our listeners in the double features informed us that Quiznos has closed. Pour one out. We have more pour one outs coming up at 6:40 that are really big.
Now, is this a casualty of war?
It seemed like possibly closed down before the war because they saw it coming and didn't want any part of it.
That's right. They ran. They ran from war.
Yeah.
It's just sad what happens during wars when you see, those crossover areas where it happens.
It's collateral damage.
It's really sad.
And Double Features with a song about that Quiznos that is closed in Valpo.
We love the subs, cause they were good to us. Those Quiznos subs, they were tasty, they were crunchy, they were warm because you toasted them. They had a pepper bar.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
It's very sad. The Quiznos is gone.
It's like an Elliott Smith song. That was really touching.
God, I'm so hungry now. I'm starving.
It's very hard to find a Quiznos, and there's not many left. They all thought they all went away.
There's a few left.
There's a few left, and now there's not one in Northwest
Case has
Indiana.
the coordinates tattooed on his body. There's
All right.
a couple. I'm looking right at them.
Is that a consolation? No, it's the Quiznos locations.
Yeah.
Now time for a fact that makes your brain go. And this will be very quickly to the point. The most popular dream job in America in 2025. A poll was taken of many, many people in and out of work. So people that are unemployed that are having a dream job in their head, or ones that already have a job and they dream of this one. What do you think the biggest dream job in America is, Kenzie?
You want to know what's sad? And I'm sorry, I don't like when I guess that I'm right, but I feel like I may be right now because I have an almost 11-year-old, and they all want to be YouTubers or influencers.
Makes sense.
Nobody says, firemen, please don't. You know what I used to say? All these cool
Yeah.
things are going to change. Every kid wanted to be like a veterinarian because they loved their puppies and all that kind of stuff. Like, YouTuber, influencer, and I'm like, what are you gonna do? What do you want to YouTube? Oh no, just like my life, like a life blog. I'm like, okay, because it's fascinating. Because you're doing a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
You watch Scooby Doo 3 days in a row. You're gonna blog about it.
all right, so that's a good guess. And very reasonable guess, by the way. I'm not going to say if you're right or wrong. We'll tell you in 5 minutes. Case, what do you think?
Probably like a secret agent, like a James Bond type thing.
That would have been the older answer, I think, to Kenzie's point. Like, I want to be a spy.
Do something. Now they're like, oh, I want to sit here and videotape it. It's like, oh no.
We'll tell you in 5 minutes what America's dream job is in 2025 in Chicago.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Time for a fact that makes your brain just go, where's the boom?
Oh.
Here comes the boom. There's the boom. What makes your brain go boom? So, the number one dream job in America. And this goes for 2025, a recent poll. Now, Kenzie said probably a YouTuber or influencer, which makes total sense. Although, I don't think they did ask a whole bunch of 11-year-olds this question, but that's what the answer would probably be.
That's what the whippersnappers want these days.
However, I also want that, and I'm not 11. So, so I think that is universal. Case thinks it is a spy, which seems more traditional. Neither of you are right, believe it or not. I thought Kenzie would be right on this one, actually.
Me too.
It's a flight attendant. A flight attendant is the number one dream job in America when people in Chicago and around the areas are asked what their dream job is.
Huh.
Now, I don't know if it's just because they think it's just you get to travel the world for your job. I think you forget about the part where you're passing out Coke and nuts to everybody. I don't know if that's fun. I don't know.
Honestly, being on a flight isn't fun anyways, though. So you might as well get, is it better to pass out beverages and get paid to be on it versus paying to be on it? Because it sucks either way.
I would like to know from a flight attendant if it is dreamy.
I don't listen. It's definitely not dreamy. I think people are like, okay, all these jobs suck. We're finding out. We've reached adulthood. They all suck.
Jesus.
Which one is true?
So every job sucks.
Yes.
Every
So
job.
You realize, wow, no matter what I do, still at work, huh? That hits in. So now you're like, what job is going to give me the most benefits? Because they're going to suck, right?
Right.
So this is maybe.
Oh, we made that clear. Every job sucks.
All of them are going to suck. Just let that. Because if you accept it, then I think life gets better because life's about expectations.
Okay, this is really a dark
It's
hole
true.
you're going down.
I'm sorry. At the end of the day, would you rather be on a beach, sipping on your beverage of choice on vacation, or would you rather be at work? Work is always going to be work. Some work's better than other work, but work is always going to be work. So now it's about the benefits, which I think a lot of flight attendants get free flights otherwise. So it's like, okay, my trips get better. I can make trips, I'm flying somewhere nice. I get dates here. I think people are looking at the benefits because work is going to suck. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so this hits me because you didn't get a chance to meet my dad.
Yes.
But now I do believe there are ghosts and angels. I believe he's an angel in heaven. Must have came down to Kenzie at some point because my dad said when I was a kid, adulthood is a disappointment.
Amen. Amen.
It's full of hard work and little reward.
Yes.
And Kenzie's channeling my dad so much, saying every job sucks. And if you accept that they're going to suck, your life will be happier because no expectations.
Because it's a big bummer if you're like, if I do this job, I'm going to, if you do a job you love, it's like you're not even working. It's not true. That's not true. You're always going to be working because it's something that you're required to do, and you have to meet certain requirements, and there's deadlines. It doesn't mean there's not parts of it that you're going to enjoy, but at the end of the day,
okay.
But at the end of the day, you're still going to be at work. You're still going to wake up to an alarm clock, or get stuck in traffic, or have a coworker who's super annoying.
Well, I hope you've all learned something today.
Yeah. So just get over it.
Your job sucks. Have low expectations, and you'll be happier.
And I think that people who want to be flight attendants are smart now, because it's like, how are we going to handle this? We're going to try to give myself the most benefit for my employment. And that's smart.
Yeah, I would like to know from a flight attendant if it is as awesome as it appears that you travel all these places. Because sometimes they do quick turnarounds. Hey, you got to get back to the airport and go.
I'm sure a lot of it sucks.
Yeah, well, clearly to your point.
Listen, I'm sure they're like, oh my God, imagine dealing with all of those people. People are so difficult.
Yeah, I would like to ask
sure
bring Case into it, but I'm not sure if he's ever been on a plane or not. I don't remember.
He hasn't been on a plane.
That's so insulting.
I don't remember.
Why? You haven't been.
Everybody just thinks I go home and I sit in the dark room and stare at the wall until I come back
That's
here.
not true.
But you know what? Well, it's because I love my job and I have nothing else to do.
Oh.
I think that you go home and listen to records. I don't think you do nothing.
Which my dad also thought that's what I do here.
Yeah, spinning records.
He thought I spun records on the radio. You go and do your little job spinning records. Life's tough out here. I go, no, it's not, Dad. I'm spinning records over here.
New Foo Fighters track, baby.
It's awesome.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and we have so much today. The show is stacked. But before we move forward, we do have to pour one out. This man had a long life, a glorious long life, so we can't be too sad. But it's still sad when they go. Bob Uecker passed away at the age of 90 yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, now Bob Uecker, former Major League Baseball player, who really got famous for not playing baseball, but entertainment and also announcing baseball. So for the Brewers fans out there, he did that for 50 years. 50 years doing Brewers games as the announcer. But you also might remember him from movies like Major League, a classic in the Miller Lite commercials. We'll play a little bit of all of that in a second. But he was a super huge, funny icon, kind of a Rodney Dangerfield type that could make fun of himself. And that's what he did in the movie and the Miller Lite commercials of the 90s and 80s that were so hilarious. You might remember being, on the couch there with your dad chuckling at it when those Miller Lite commercials were just epic. Here's a little bit of Major League when he was the announcer there. Of course, the team's doing terrible.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed. Ball 4. Ball 8. Low, and Vaughn has walked the bases loaded on 12 straight pitches.
Now, I realize I have to preface this because I don't think Case has seen Major League, correct?
No.
Oh, that takes away the funny of that scene there because I know Kenzie's seen it.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised you did really love baseball.
Still do.
So I'm surprised.
Why don't we do that next week?
I'd be more than happy to. I had a few people ask me that yesterday if I'd watch Major League if I hadn't seen it because of Bob Uecker. I'm more than happy to do that. I didn't know is this where Just a Bit Outside comes from?
Yes, which is also an iconic phrase because what you see in the movie there when he goes, just a bit outside. He's 40 feet outside. He pitched like
funny.
he's almost like hitting people in the stands.
Like if I pitched, like just slightly. That's so funny. I did want him just randomly the other day. I was like, I want Case to watch A Few Good Men.
Oh, I watched a little bit of that too. It was on TNT or something every minute. Yesterday I watched a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Great movie.
It is. It turned Case into a man.
Put that on the list.
Okay.
know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tom
Exactly.
Cruise, Jack Nicholson, Kiefer
love
Sutherland.
Tom Cruise.
It's an incredible lineup. Cuba Gooding Jr. is one of his first movies before Jerry Maguire. But anyway, so now that you know that clip, what's going on in this scene?
And radio. He's great in radio.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Who did you think was the last person you talked about?
Not Bob Uecker.
You changed quickly. I was trying to get back to Bob Uecker, and you mentioned radio.
You were listing Cuba Gooding Jr. movies, and I said radio, and then you looked at me like
I just said Jerry Maguire. So Bob Uecker, now that you know that scene, Case, it's Charlie Sheen pitching, and Charlie Sheen is, the wild thing, and yes, he's pitching, almost killing people in the ballpark, and then that's just a bit outside.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside.
He was unbelievable in that movie, and of course, all those years, as I said, with the Brewers, and then those Miller Lite commercials, where he also totally just made fun of himself as like he was an important guy, but he never got the credit, and never got any kind of that. That must be in the front row. Maybe you've heard people just say that. Must be in the front row. That came from Bob Uecker and those. Yeah, that came from those commercials. And here's one of those old Miller Lite commercials.
You know, one of the best things about being an ex-big leaguer is getting freebies to the game. Call the front office, bingo. And once these fans recognize me, I probably won't even have to pay for my light beer from Miller. Down in front. I love them. Good seats, huh?
You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on.
Oh, I must be in the front row.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less.
He missed the tag! He missed the tag!
They're dragging him out of the stadium and he's yelling, he missed the tag! Oh, so good.
He must be in the front row.
The best part of it is all those freebies. Those guys are yelling at him down in front. Oh. And that was like just one, but the whole series of those commercials, every time in those old Miller Lite commercials, he would somehow, get pulled out of where he was supposed to be because he thought he was important, but he wasn't. Incredible. Bob Uecker passing away at the age of 90. Let's do one more piece of audio because it sadly brings up another guy that went way too young. Obviously, Bob Uecker, 90, pretty good run. Norm Macdonald was on Letterman telling a story about how he was friends with him, and he went up in the booth with him a lot of times and would just sit behind him while Bob Uecker was calling Brewers games. So here's Norm telling a story about when Bob Uecker met the CCR frontman, John Fogerty, and was telling him about it, was so excited about it. So he told
Bob is a very, very
Norm.
funny man, and I often go in the booth with him,
Oh, sure.
So one time we were there, and John Fogerty was in the audience. A fortunate son, So John Fogerty was there. So Bob Uecker is a very interesting guy. He thinks of everybody as the same. He doesn't think of people as stars or anything like that. He's a very down-to-earth guy. So he was talking to me. He says, "Hey, man, you know that guy?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "That's John Fogerty, rock and roll singer." So I go, "Yeah, I know who it is." He goes, "Yeah, man." He goes, "But I played in a golf tournament with him." He goes, "You probably think of him as some that likes to bite the heads off of chickens, but this guy can."
That's exactly how I think of him.
This guy can get it out of the sand trap like nobody's business. So he goes, he's got a hell of a set of pipes on him. He goes, come the seventh inning stretch, I'll have him up here. He'll sing for you. So I said, no, Bob, don't do that. Like, don't have him come up and sing for me, please, He goes, what's the matter, man? Don't you even know who he is? He got all mad. So I go, yes, Bob, I know who he is. He did Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, he did all that.
Oh, man. So good. All those years of being around baseball and media, I wish I would have met Bob Uecker. Which somehow, probably one of those card shows, he would have been there. It would have been great. Up in Rosemont to see him.
Apparently, you should have tried to meet him at the golf course.
Yeah, everybody knew him, it seems like. But Bob Uecker passing away at the age of 90. And we need to note right now that David Lynch also passed away at the age of 79. Twin Peaks, so many incredible movies. Wild at Heart, Lost Highway.
I thought you were saying that he came up with the restaurant Twin Peaks.
No.
Like the founder
No.
or something. I'm like, really?
Not him.
Still would have been honored today, by the way.
Okay.
When that guy passes away, that's the show. That's
No,
the whole
it's
show
not.
that day.
I better be sick again.
Listen, when we do Gil's headlines, I got to look up who created Twin Peaks Restaurant. Let's see what's going on. In the meantime, it's Gil Curtis with your headlines.
This is not headline news. A Southwest pilot was arrested just before takeoff at a Georgia airport for DUI. It's a big loss for Southwest because he could de-ice a plane's wings just by lighting his breath. J-Lo donated clothes to LA fire victims. Because if there's one thing people without food or shelter need right now, it's a sequined body thong. The FDA has banned the use of red dye number 3, which is fine by me because red dye number 2 is definitely the best part of that trilogy. Yes, red dye number 3 has been banned. Still no word on what to do with Mambo number 5. This is not headline news.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.